Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. I need someone, whoever hops on, leave a comment. I'm trying something new on the StreamYard, and I need to know that you are hearing me, seeing me, and all that stuff. But I'm live, waiting for y'all to roll in so we can get it going. Hope you're having a good Tuesday evening. It's been a rainy day here in Columbus, Ohio, but a nice little breeze though. I'm looking out my window, starting to clear out now. Hope all is well. There y'all go. Lou and Austin. What's up? Yolanda. Hey, there's everybody. That's what I'm talking about. Good to see y'all. Good old faithfuls. Pleasure to see you. Always a pleasure to see you, Luann. Are you going to the Notre Dame game? I'm assuming you are. I'm trying to figure out a way to go without paying an arm and a leg for tickets, especially if it's a night game, which I'm hoping it is. I'm praying that it is. I'm going to say it again. I'm praying that it's a night game. Literally. I just want to see that shiny new turf at night, in the shoe. Nice. It's probably going to be 75, early September. Yeah. I'm going to try my best to go to that, man, for sure. So Brandon Steiner, what's up? Is that how you say that? Wauseon? Am I saying that right? Wauseon, Ohio. And you said I think I'll go to the Toledo game. You know what? And I'm gonna bring this back up later. But I pulled the schedule up. I'm so focused on the big games that I kind of forgot the small games. Okay, Arkansas State. We got Arkansas State after Notre Dame on September 10th. And then Toledo. So yeah. That should be good. Darren Lee Mans, what's up? What's up? Heather Parker, another good long faithful. Jesse Todd, what's up, y'all? I know it's been a minute. It's been a lot of life going on, man. Lots going on. But I've been good, man. I've been good. Dayton, yeah. I got a lot of people in Dayton, man. Got some good history in Dayton. Going down there. I used to go down to Wright State, and I know it's Fairborn technically, but I call it Dayton. I used to go down to Wright State and kick it years ago on campus. Trap game, Arkansas State. You stupid. Oh my God. If that's a trap game, then we just need to just go ahead and shut the program down. Oh, you and Jesse went to school together. Wow, okay. I see. That's what's up. Let's get this natty. Absolutely, man. It's now. Like it's now. Like that's what it is. Jeff Trotman. Good to see y'all, man. Good to see y'all. Absolutely. Oh, and yeah, check out the B Moses hoodie. I'm working on making these available. I don't know if you can see this. I'm working on making these available for everybody soon. Just working out some kinks with the best way to do it, but getting that together definitely before the season. That's the plan. Oh, he did. Okay, Jesse, I see you with the good referral. Nice little referral to the page. If I had a lot of money, I would just send you like a tip or something, but I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. And really, listen, y'all. I want y'all to chime in. I'm going to be interacting with your comments. I have an agenda. I'm going to go through some things, but I'm going to be bouncing things off of y'all. I want y'all to chime in. Tomorrow, you talking about Austin? Daryl Lee, man? You talking about the Austin kid? Is that tomorrow? If it's tomorrow, then yes. And let me say this. You know how they do like a confidence level with your predictions? My confidence level out of 10 is probably a 7.5. Just because every analyst is basically saying, he's very close to the vest. And there's been a few crystal balls that have flowed in for Ohio State. it seems to be Ohio State. With some other recruits that I may share with y'all on the page, you'll see I'm a lot more confident. For this one, pretty confident, but not like stone cold, like lock, put my mortgage on it confident. But yeah, I do think we get them. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is the spring football, spring game, all that. All right. So first and foremost, just a reminder, I've said this before, he is a must get, Jeff. Yeah, we need linemen. We need elite linemen badly. And I do believe we get him. Yep, that kid. I can't, is it Serveld? His last name is a little challenging. Yeah, happy birthday, young Simba. Man, that's still, man, we can talk about that too, man. It still doesn't seem real, especially watching highlights of him. It's just like, man, he's still here. It's crazy. But we can get back to that. But absolutely, happy birthday to Dwayne Haskins. He would have been, I believe, 25 today? 24, 25. But yeah. So with the spring game, y'all, just a friendly reminder to y'all. You can't put too much stock into a spring game. You can't. I think we overreact. I mean, what's the old joke, the Bam Childress Spring Game Award? Y'all know, Bam Childress he would be a Heisman candidate in the spring game, but wouldn't do anything during the season. And no offense to Bam Childress, that, good player, but just never worked out, never transitioned to the field. The point is, when watching a spring game, you have to take things with a grain of salt. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of, depth things going on. There's a lot of matchup things, quirky matchups, and you got walk-ons in there with starters and occasionally, and they're manipulating the play calling because it's a practice. You know what I mean? So you got to take it with a grain of salt. And that's why, just a kind of a side note, I know y'all remember the post I made from the Notre Dame fan that thought he had a hot take saying, oh, Ohio State looks trash. Their defense looks trash. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. We were super vanilla on defense. They even announced that before we even trotted out there in the field. No blitzing, no twists, no stunts, no exotic nothings, no disguised coverages, nothing. It was literally, hey, this is what we're running, the basic defense, and basically do your assignment, and that's it. Be in position. Understand your role. There was no trickery or anything like that defensively. With that said, within the context of not being able to take too much away from the spring game, I did see that the defense, how you can watch a defense like last year. You watched our defense, it could tell they weren't sure what they were doing at times. They didn't know their assignments. After plays, they were talking to each other with their hands like this, or they looked clueless and lost. And that's why Jim knows. That's why he mentioned that he's going to teach the fundamentals. And Ryan Day was so happy about how he was teaching during the spring, just teaching. It wasn't just about, 4 to 6 seconds, go to A to B, 4 to 6 seconds, which is cool. But what good does that do you if you're missing your assignments constantly and you can't stop a nosebleed? So to me, from the spring game, I saw what looked like more competency, to where they looked like they actually knew what they were doing. They were in position. They were flowing to the ball. They looked like they understood their triggers. The linebackers, you were reading their keys. Just basic stuff. It looked like they knew what they were doing, and it wasn't a ton of guys running wide open. You know what I mean? Like it. So again, you can't take too much away from it, but you could at least take away that to where it looks like, okay, they're at least in position to where this offseason they have an understanding of the defense and they can grow off of that and be able to make more plays because they have an understanding of what they're doing, which is not what it looked like last year. Think about the Oregon game. Brutal. Notre Dame's offense was hilarious through the spring game. Now, it was, yes. So with that said, you can laugh at some of the things you see in the spring game, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be what you see in the fall. But we can still laugh now, and it was trash. They did look trash, but we still better be ready because they gunning for us. So individual standouts in the spring game. Everyone knows the obvious name, Kai Stokes, right? Kai Stokes. So one thing you can watch in a spring game or a practice is an individual matchup. You can watch a receiver against the DB. That's something you can evaluate because, it's just man to man. And Kai Stokes, even when he wasn't playing man to man, it was, to me, from he's at the safety position, but when he wasn't running down the field step to step with a receiver, when there was a pass, him coming up against the run, flying up to the ball was very impressive. He's long, rangy, fast. They all say he's fast. He looks twitchy and athletic. He was showing he had closing speed. I don't know if I remember the play. The ball was thrown to the sideline, and he closed quickly and knocked that ball away. That's the stuff we've been missing with our secondary. Yolanda could have been intentional. Yeah, they could have said, all right, let's just throw this out there so Ohio State thinks we're trash and we just come in and just get them. Man, whatever. And Marcus Freeman, I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so Kai Stokes, listen, he looks the part, right? True freshman. We'll see how it translates to the field, but we all love what we saw. Those are the type of things you need to do as a safety, especially a silver bullet safety. And especially, and I'm still learning the new scheme and kind of getting a handle on what Jim Knowles likes to do, but he's very safety heavy, right? So, usually 3 safeties. Safety is the linchpin position of the defense. It kind of makes it go according to him. So I'm thinking it's going to be Ronnie Hickman. Hopefully Proctor's healthy. He's about 85% according to the last report. So hopefully he'll be good to go. And Kai Stokes is the number 2 guy behind Hickman according to the latest depth chart, or unofficial depth chart. I'll say that. And the third safety is going to be interesting. Yes, the kid Tanner, I forget his last name that quick, McAllister from Oklahoma State. I would think he would be the front runner, but it depends on what teams we play with packages. I can see Court Williams getting in there as well and getting some tick. But with that said, Kai Stokes definitely jumped out. Jack Sawyer looks like he added some more tools to his toolkit as far as rushing the passer. And he just looks, I called him the werewolf last year. He just looks like an even bigger werewolf. So we really need these DNs. We need him and JT Tuimoloau to really step up, man, because yes, I'm holding out hope for Zach Harrison to really meet the expectations of his star ranking. I don't think he's been absolute trash. That came off wrong. I don't think he's been trash. I think he's been okay to solid, but his expectations were so much higher that there's some disappointment. We've seen flashes from him. He's obviously a freak athlete. He's going to be drafted in the first 3 rounds, most likely, off of that alone. His measurables, speed, all of that, size is going to get him drafted. If he steps up and starts producing on another level this year, he's going first round. That's how freaky he is athletically, right? So, but I don't want to rely on him to do that because he hasn't done it yet. So it's like, do you really want to rely on him to finally step up? I'm looking at Sawyer and JTT. And then in the interior, Michael Hall, I'm hoping he can step up and really be a beast. Even though I'll give Teron Vincent his props. He played really well in the Rose Bowl. And then not Antoine Jackson, he's gone. Who's our? Oh, yeah. I'm slipping on the names tonight. Help me out. Tyleik Williams. He lost a lot of weight. I think he was like 375 or something goofy, or even higher. Now he's down like to lower 300s, and he said he feels great. So we need our D-line to step up. We need those young guys to step up. Those 4 sophomores to step up that I just mentioned to really get this going. I'm actually not concerned about the secondary, y'all. to be honest with you, I'm not really worried about the secondary. We got Cam Williams back, starting corner when he's healthy. He's really good. Obviously, Burke, you know what I mean? And then I believe our safeties are going to be much better with Proctor back, Hickman in another year in the system. Well, not in this system, but just playing. And then a veteran guy from Okie State and Tanner McAllister. In the depth we have, we're building with Court Williams and Kai Stokes. I think we're going to be just fine. I'm concerned about linebacker. That's what I'm concerned about. Like that is the weakness until proven otherwise. It just is, right? I mean, because you got some guys who flash and have some potential, but there's, I mean, even with Chambers, he flashed at times last year, but he seemed to kind of hit a wall. And I don't know if he was dealing with injuries towards the end of the year, but if he can come in and really play at the high level that we saw him flash at last year, I think he can be really good. And then Eichenberg played a really good Rose Bowl game. Those two guys, along with they call him Chip, train him, Chip. His athleticism, I'm hoping he can get in there and get some reps and get that good sideline to sideline speed. But honestly, y'all, the most important thing from our linebacker unit is not even just more speed, it's competency and knowing your assignment and filling the gaps and attacking and knowing, you know what I mean? Like, and the good thing about Jim Knowles is he's a linebacker coach by trade. That's his position. So that makes me feel better that his hands will be on that position as a D coordinator to make sure that it's right. You feel me? So that gives me some encouragement and hope that our linebacker room, even though I'm very concerned, will be able to at least, hopefully by mid-season to end of season, be playing at a championship level. Because I believe the defensive line and the secondary have that potential right now. So let me check these comments out. Taraj Vincent is going to be an animal. How are you feeling about linebacker room? Okay, yeah, I just talked about the linebackers. Secondary looks pro. They do. They I believe they do have pro potential for sure. You know, like people, our secondary was not really the big issue last year. It was the linebackers, and the D line couldn't get pushed enough, and so we would just get ate up. Yeah, Yolanda, healthy. So yeah, Jim Knowles is a linebacker coach. Dustin, that's a good thing. That's a great thing. And so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next things. Oh, one last thing about the spring before we move on to CJ Stroud and the potential of the offense is Evan Pryor. Evan Pryor is going to steal some carries. He's going to steal some touches. He looked really smooth and bouncy and twitchy out there, y'all. I mean, this dude was not a low-level recruit. People just forget because of Trey Henderson. Evan Pryor was not like a chopped liver throw-in recruit. Like he could have been a starter at North Carolina or wherever, you know, as a recruit. He's really talented. So, and he's a good receiver. So I don't know, man. Like I think Ryan Day's gonna find ways to get him in there for matchup purposes. He'll find a way. You know what I mean? And especially early in the season during blowouts, he's gonna get in there and eat. And that's gonna be important because I'm hoping Trey Henderson has shaken off the ouchiness that he dealt with last year because he was in and out of that tent a lot. Now, to his credit, he bounced back and would either come back on the field or he was cool. But if he does get ouchy, Evan Pryor is the next closest thing to him as far as explosiveness and elusiveness, right? Mayan Williams, I'm looking forward to see if he makes a step with his vision and his discipline with running through the right gaps. And what I mean is he had a tendency to bounce it out. He had some early success. I think he kind of got happy against Minnesota. He had that bounce out where he didn't actually hit the hole. He bounced out and he scored, right? But that's not always going to work. Sometimes you got to take that 5 or 6 yards and then let that set up later. He tends to get a little greedy with that. But with that said, I think Evan Pryor is going to steal some carries. That's the point. Pryor is an absolute dog. He's going to improve this year as a monster. Yeah, I think he's going to steal some time. I know that sounds crazy because we're loaded, but I'm telling you, there's going to be opportunities for him. to make some noise. Derek Hall can read your comment. Yeah, Mayan dropped a little bit of weight. He looks a little more explosive, a little bit. He's still, not a game breaking back, but he doesn't need to be per se. Yeah, he needs to be that thunder. You know what I mean? And he needs to make sure he's getting upfield. He bounces too much. I'm telling you, like even in the spring game, he bounced a little bit too much. But I think he's gonna be all right. So yeah. So let's move on to CJ Stroud and the potential of the offense. So yeah, listen, man. I don't know if we. This is kind of a reminder of how important a last impression is to the public opinion, right? Because before the Rose Bowl, there was a certain narrative. Oh, Ohio State is soft and they got beat up by Michigan and whatever, blah, 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 right? And even though that Rose Bowl game was sloppy to start out with and looked very similar to stuff we were doing early in the season, I give them boys credit for manning up. Utah is not soft. No one can say they're soft. So let's just get that out the way. In the second half, especially, we bowed up and showed that we can stop the run and be physical, right? So there's that. But offensively, that was spectacular. The whole nation saw that game, and the narrative quickly changed, and we're starting to see the fruits of that. Now, you can say, hey, you got to go prove it on the field. Absolutely. But the narrative going into a season and the momentum and the excitement and all that stuff, to me, it matters, at least to an extent, as far as, not just expectations, but just everything, man. Like, if we would have lost that game, I don't think the juice would be the same going into this offseason. Now, we would be hungry, but the juice wouldn't be the same. That Rose Bowl performance of that offense was ridiculous, and people just kind of just brushed to the side that we didn't have the services of Olave and Garrett Wilson, right? Now people say, well, you had JSN, Jackson Smith, and yeah, we did, but he had to step up in a new role of being the number one guy, right? Even he had to do that. So we just can't take for granted that, it was a given. It wasn't a given. They stepped up and they showed out. Marvin Harrison, a true freshman, was playing like a not fifth year senior, because that means you're not that good. A third year player with a first round grade. Like, you know what I mean? So, and Egbuka played well. He returned kicks like he normally does well and made some good catches. That offense, along with CJ Stroud throwing some dimes, yes, there was some plays that was wide open, easy pitch and catch. I get that. But you cannot tell me that CJ Stroud did not make some NFL throws in that game, especially that back shoulder throw to Jackson Smith and Jigma in the second half. That was absolutely insane. So let me take a break and look at these comments. How many yards do you think JSN goes for this year? Ooh. I don't know, man. With teams keying in on him, it may not matter because I don't see Harrison is going to be. Man, our receivers are just stupid. And Henderson is going to be even better this year. And real quick, Henderson, I think one of my beloved followers, I love you, no shade, but we were kind of debating about Henderson's development. Obviously, I love Henderson. He had a great freshman year. But if you're going to critique something, I was critiquing his vision. His vision wasn't bad. He had good vision as a freshman. But compared to like a Maurice Claret, he had elite vision out the gate. Henderson, I expect him to make another leap with his vision this year, which is going to make him unstoppable. There were holes that he missed last year that could have been touchdowns or 50-yard gains. I'm nitpicking because he had a great season, but I'm saying if you're going to evaluate, that was his issue, in my opinion. So he's going to be better. It's going to be pick your poison like crazy. So with that said, I think Jackson Smith and Jigma, I would say maybe 12 to 1,500 yards. There you go. Personally don't mind Stroud not running. Shouldn't need to with our running back room. Oh boy, here we go with the Stroud running. I'm not knocking you, Dustin, but I'm just laughing at people. It was like they kept moving the goalposts last year on Stroud. If it wasn't one thing, it was, oh, now he doesn't run enough. Fleming made and break season. Yeah, make and break season. Yeah, I'm praying Fleming stays healthy too. And he at least plays himself into a draft pick because he's a freak athlete too when healthy. But as far as CJ goes with the running, yeah, I'll just touch on that real quick. It's funny as a Buckeye as a fan base, I should say. Listen, I've been a fan all my life, so I done seen it and heard it. I've been in the trenches. I've been in all the circles. I've been hearing all the narratives for a long time. And it used to be that our quarterbacks would get, knocked for running too much and not keeping their eyes downfield. But now we got a projected number one pick in the draft, quarterback, elite passer, who, when he's scrambling, is constantly looking downfield and has delivered when doing that often, but he gets knocked for not running it enough. Now, listen, can we nitpick and say, oh, he could have ran right there and picked up 10 yards? Sure, we could probably do that with Tom Brady or whoever. But you can't have it both ways. It's like his biggest threat is his arm. He can run a little bit. He ran for 40 yards for a touchdown against Michigan State a couple years ago. But he's not Braxton Miller either. So it's like, if this dude is deadly accurate and can throw on the run, I want to see him looking downfield more so than trying to tuck in and run so quickly. Are there going to be times where he can tuck in and run and pick up the yards? Yes. And I believe in with his maturity, he will be able to discern when that moment will be more and more with experience. But with that said, the whole he don't run thing enough was just way over the top. So, and with CJ Stroud, getting back to him, it's just funny. I'm gonna get back to it, man. I'm gonna have to say it, man. Listen, this is not a I told you so. Not really. It's more of a learn your lesson. Okay. And what I mean is, I'm not saying me and others like me had a crystal ball, so to speak, but we saw the talent and using basic logic and reason and just understanding of how things work, especially in the game of football and a young athlete, a young quarterback with no experience. That requires some perspective of patience of, okay, this every quarterback on our roster is going to be making their first pass in a college football game, right? So you should already have a built-in understanding and expectation based off that alone, right? But the problem is fans going to fan, and fans got their own agendas, their own thoughts, their own guy, Kyle McCord or whoever. Like, that's my guy. I want to get him out of there. I want my guy in. But Ryan Day is a QB whisperer for a reason. He sees them in practice every day, right? Now, we saw how things unfolded. Our defense was very, very bad. And we were all hoping and expecting our defense to be at least solid, but they weren't. They were pretty bad. And so that puts more pressure on your offense and your young first-year starting QB, who threw for almost 500 yards against our first loss against Oregon, but got blamed by a lot of fans for that loss. Now, he's coming off of a Heisman invite and is the projected, just looked at, I forget what site it was, FanDuel or something. He's the projected odds favorite to win the Heisman this year. And some sites have him going as a number one pick overall. See how quickly things change? But some fans are just so impatient and have their own agenda without really thinking things through logically and reasonably that they're so quick to jump the gun. And it's just like, let that be a lesson, man. Just let it be a lesson. That's all I'm saying. Because some of y'all was way too harsh. Some of y'all was just absolutely just ridiculous with some of your takes. and you were still digging your heels in after he showed that he was the starter. Y'all know who y'all are. But with that said, now we got us one, right? We got us a dog. And I saw that skill and that talent in him early on. And I still like Kyle McCord. I still like our quarterbacks. But he's the better quarterback, clearly, and he showed it. So with that said, we are getting so much love from around the nation about CJ Stroud on offense. I'm just talking to SEC fans, just non-Big Ten fans, some of the buddies and circles I run in. Yo, it's immediate respect this offseason. Like, yo, y'all's offense is crazy. It's off of watching the Rose Bowl. That game flipped the narrative, something crazy, y'all, as far as expectations and respect. And now people's like, listen, they hired Jim Knowles, who some people early on didn't like to hire. Like, well, he's from the Big 12. But the Big 12 is an offensive league, and he was the number 2 overall defense in the country. And I think they were like number 1 in not interceptions, but sacks. Actually, they were higher interceptions too. They had one of the best defenses in the country with a bunch of 3-star players in an offensive league. But yeah, people try to knock that as if that's a bad thing. So to me, and let's go ahead and transition into the next thing. I think that's a good segue, which was the defense and the expectations. Before I do, let me check out the comments. Dustin, bro, some fans are just never happy. I hated the way some talked about this kid last year. Yeah, bro, it was ridiculous. And some of the Buckeye groups, ridiculous. Some of the stuff. And I got screenshots in my phone. Like, just flat out, just some of them were just evil. You know what I mean? And it just made me think, like, man, what's really in your heart? You know what I mean? Like, what's really going on, man? Like, because some people, you just got some people who just whatever, man. But Derek, I'm guilty of doubting Stroud. Yeah, fans used to Urban Meyer days, do it through QBs. Probably everybody had it figured out. Going back to pro style, giving these guys chances to be sought out harder. NFL guys. I love Stroud's ability to just throw dimes on the receivers. Yeah, Derek. Yeah, and that's the other thing. To be fair, the shifting of the mindset from what we were used to for years with the Terrell Pryors and the Braxtons, like, and even the JT Barretts, we're used to that for years, but it's a shift now. We are becoming QBU. Like, we're probably going to get this kid from Arizona. What's his name? Crap. Somebody put it in the chat. The kid, 5-star, the number 1 overall player. His name escapes me right now. But we're probably going to get him. And he's the number 1 overall QB in the country. They just keep lining up. It's a shift. So we have to shift our mindset and expectations for our quarterbacks. So, concerns about O-line depth. Wonder if they look to the portal. Took words right out of my mouth. Number 1 offense plus great defense. Thank you, Aaron. Dylan Riola. That's his name. I'm still getting to know that kid because he kind of came on the scene in the past few months. But yeah, absolutely. As far as O-line depth, I know Ryan Day was very vocal about that. And some of these kids behind the starting 5 just got to develop. They just got to develop. They got to step up this offseason. They got to work on their technique. And speaking of that, let me address this. Paris Johnson. I know there was some critique about him from the spring game. Jack Sawyer beat him up a little bit and kind of schooled him a little bit. I'm not going to panic on that. Number 1, Jack Sawyer is a 5-star defensive end. Paris Johnson is shifting back to playing tackle in college. Last time he's played tackle was in high school, right? It's a lot different getting adjusted to being on the edge and isolated against a 5-star werewolf like Jack Sawyer. So is there concern with what we saw? Sure. You're like, dang, he got beat pretty bad on some of those plays. But he also did well on some of those plays as well. But he has time to look at that film and work on his footwork and his technique and keep, I'm not an O-lineman. I'm a receiver, DB guy. That's what I played. But I'm just saying there's some basic things that you can see he needs to work on. And he will. I mean, he's still projected. I was looking at the mock draft, and he's like a top 5 draft pick, according to one of the sites. So I'm not going to freak out about that. But yeah, some of these guys behind the offensive line, behind the starters, need to step up and provide that depth. So yeah. So the defense. I expect these are my expectations. I want y'all to put it in the chat. What y'all expectations are for total D. What's going to be the total D ranking for the defense at the end of the season? And I'm going to go with top 25 to 30 at minimum. And I think it could be higher than that. I think last year we finished, man, crap. I forget what we finished last year. It wasn't great. But I believe this defense is going to improve. And just really quickly, last year, I mentioned this as well. Last year was not a talent issue as much as it was a coaching schematic issue. Okay. You can't tell me that the Purdue's and the let me see, the Wisconsins and the Iowas or teams like that who trot out 3 stars and sprinkle with 4 stars are more talented than Ohio State recruits. Look at me with a straight face and tell me that that's true. It's not true. So my point is this. Kerry Combs was in over his head. As a fan base, we had reservations about him taking over as a D coordinator, but we gave him the benefit of the doubt collectively because we love Kerry Combs. We know he's produced first-round draft picks at, coaching corner. He had a nice stint with the Tennessee Titans. We figured maybe he learned some things in the pros. And it was a familiar face, great recruiter. So we thought, hey, you know what? Let's just hope he can step up and do what he needs to do, but it just didn't work out. Not only were we not prepared, as far as the game goes, he just couldn't make adjustments. We were doing simple elementary things. Our young guys didn't know what crack replace was, or at least they didn't act like it on the field. They were running the same plays and scoring on us at Oregon. And it's just, you can't have that. And Ryan Day he didn't come out right out and say it, but he was basically saying in his press conferences that he talked about adjusting quicker, and we just weren't doing that. So the point is this: competency. Having an actual defensive coordinator who's proven that he knows what he's doing. Okay. You can talk like Ryan Day. You can have a conversation with him, talk football with him. Like this dude is legit. Then he shows it on the field with his schemes and his preparation. Jim Knowles is a really good defensive coordinator and a great mind, okay, who brought a competent coaching staff around him with their track record, with the new coaches we hired, all scream competent. So that alone, competency alone, is going to make this defense better. Okay? So if the players know what they're doing, they're going to play better. Add that to the fact that some of these young players are going to be a year better because of experience. Okay? So logically, that tells you the defense is going to be better. If I'm wrong, you can come back and whatever, troll me, whatever. But this defense will be better. How much better is the question? And looking at the chat, 60 of Dustin. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yeah, not great. That's not Buckeye football. That's not silver bullet level at all. So going to be a slow start. Kevin Bennett, by the end of the season, they will jail and shut down teams to get off the field on third down. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. And Keldrick's top 25 with a defensive identity and scheme. Agreed. Jesse, absolutely, bro. And I was talking to my dudes, man, my homies I talk to every day, and they were saying top 30 natty as well. And it's that simple because you need an offense to score points, period. We got that offense. And if the defense is top 25, 30, we're in the playoffs for sure. And we're going to be right there in position to legitimately win a natty. That's it. If the defense is at least top 30, it's a wrap. So, and I believe they will. I believe it's going to be top 25, 30 at worst for the defense. So, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move on for the sake of time. I know we're getting a little late here. Okay, so thoughts and predictions for the 2022 season. Before we do that, we're going to end out with that. Let me quickly address NIL transfer portal. And yeah, and we'll see how the time is going because it's almost coming on an hour. But if y'all stick around, I can keep going. It depends on y'all, I guess. It also helped with Sauce Gardner going in the first round with the new DB coach. Absolutely, that's another gold medal. On the recruiting trail. Like boom, like what? Look what I produced at Cincinnati. You know what I mean? Absolutely, good point, Corey. Great point. And don't even get me started on Brian Hartline. So yeah. So let me touch on NIL real quick. I'm not gonna stay on NIL that long, but I just saw a post earlier about there's supposed to be some type of task force or something that's supposed to rein in the regulations for NIL, and I'm glad. I was worried about the whole Wild Wild West bidding for players type thing with the NIL because listen, there's a balance. Do I think the old way with the athletes was right? No, it was not. These dudes could get a violation for getting a free fry at Burger King because they were a college football player. That's ridiculous. All right. We all know these universities were making millions of dollars off of their efforts on the field. Yes, they're getting a free education, but they also have a rigorous schedule. And a lot of these kids don't come from money. Okay. So let's just not act like, there was some unfairness in the deal. However, what we tend to do in society on all levels is we overcorrect. And NIL, at least at first, has been an overcorrection, in my opinion, but now it needs to be reined in and balanced out to where it makes more sense for all parties. Because what was the kid Addison to USC for like $3 million in a house or something goofy like that? I want these kids to get paid for their efforts, but come on, let's pump the brakes a little bit and balance this thing out, and hopefully they'll do that. Jay Baker, what up, man? What up? I appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. Bob Cody. Oh, ACOC. By the way, I love that ACOC name. I've been looking into that. I haven't seen any updates about that yet, but I've been peering into that to see what's up because we could definitely use his services. So now let me quickly touch on the transfer portal. Okay. And some of y'all are not going to like this. I've been looking at the comments on my page, and I want to try to establish some perspective and balance with this as well. When I post such and such is in the transfer portal, some of y'all just freak out like, oh my God, and they're afraid to compete, and they're scared and entitled and all this other stuff. Come on, y'all. Pump the brakes a little bit on that. Yes, the transfer portal is new and we're still adjusting to it. It's a few years in. But think about this. The kids who transferred out, was there anybody who transferred out? He was like, dang, that sucks for us. Man, that really cripples us. Not for me. All of these kids that I saw transfer was like, yeah, that makes sense. Saw that coming. Cool. Best for both parties. Peace. Best of luck to you. Remember, we got Justin Fields in the transfer portal. Do y'all not remember that? Come on. We got Jonah Jackson from Rutgers, who is in the league right now. I think he's still on the roster. Is he with the Lions still? And I'm missing a few others that I'm just not thinking of off the top of the head. But we, in this new transfer portal world, we're going to have some wins and we're going to have some losses. But I feel like we've done pretty good overall, all things considered, right? I mean, I'll give up. Man, these kids we just lost. None of them were like, big losses. Let's just be real. So just keep the perspective on that. We ain't got to freak out. Everything is not he doesn't want to compete. You know what I mean? Like, I get it's a case by case situation. If you're a third year red shirt and you are at the bottom of the depth chart and you're not going to play except against Toledo and Arkansas State, go ahead and bang out. We need to get under that 85 scholarships anyway, which is another thing is hilarious about our fans, about any fans, not our fans, any fan is, oh my God, how are we going to get under the 85? Every year it's a freak out. How many? We always get under 85. Under Tressel, under Bruce, under whoever, whenever since the rule was instituted. It always happens. Stop freaking out about that. I'm never worried about the 85 ever. It always works out. Anyway, rant over. But don't freak out. The transfers we just had all made sense, right? And we can still reach into the portal and do our thing or whatever, and we gonna do that. But we good, y'all. We good. Corey, hopefully hitting and tackling gap assignments are worked on this fall camp. Absolutely, and they will be, because we actually have a competent coaching staff on defense to make sure that happens. Speaking of Fields, hope he gets help with the O-line being trash for the Bears. Don't get me started on the Chicago Bears, man. Now, these guys they drafted, these guys we never heard of, they could be all great, but I'm not convinced. And it's just going to, continue the goofy narrative. Oh, Ohio State can't put quarterbacks, in the NFL. Oh, man. I wanted him to go to San Francisco so bad. Why did they have to pick Trey Lance? Anyway. So before we finish off with the 2022 season expectations, which I want y'all to chime in, let's briefly touch on basketball, okay? And I want to ask y'all, because I've been really thinking about this. I've really been contemplating, going back and forth, man, what is our expectations? Clearly, we're not a basketball school. I'm not saying we don't have a basketball tradition. I'm not saying we don't have a solid program. But if you poll the country outside of Columbus, Ohio, and you ask, is Ohio State a football or basketball school? 99.9% of them are going to say football school, right? That's no slight that we have a bad basketball program, but those are the facts. So what is our expectations? Holtman, to me, and my buddies, they hate Holtman. I last year, going from last year to this year after getting put out the first round, I said we got to at least make the Sweet 16 is what I was thinking, or I'm done with Holtman. That's what I was thinking. Now we got past the first round. To me, Holtman is just average to good at times. Average. I'm not that impressed so far. He's just cool. To me, there's too many lapses, and this is my opinion. In basketball, I played both sports, but I was a little bit more known for basketball, in the Columbus area. And I'm big on basketball IQ. I cannot stand low basketball IQ. And I've seen too many spurts of low basketball IQ at times on the court. And it just drives me crazy. So I don't know. It's just too many mystifying lulls where it's just what is happening right now? You know what I mean? Even some losing streaks. I know teams lose games, but it's hard to put your finger on. It's something that's just not hitting with Holtman. I don't think he's the worst coach ever, but he's just okay. Now, with that said, we got a top 5 recruiting class coming in next year. I like the kid from Wright State we picked up in the transfer portal. I was watching him in a tournament real time. Oh, he's nice. I like him. He's a scorer. He can hit the 15-footer. He can hit threes. He can, drive to the basket. We need that. Along with Sewing being healthy, hopefully. These freshmen, though, they're going to have to come in and step up and play and do some things. But Holtman's not getting fired, y'all. So we're kind of stuck with him. So I'm just hoping as a fan, because I'm going to watch the games. I'm a fan. I may be frustrated, but I'm going to watch the games, and I'm just hoping that they can sort of get over the hump or at least be respectable. But that kind of goes back to my question is, what is our expectations? It's not the same level as Buckeye football, is it? Not to me. Let me check out these comments. All right, so what y'all talking about? All right. Oh, y'all commenting for real. Aaron, I'm gonna circle back to your comment about Heartline. NIL withdrawal mid-major soon. We blow the Big Ten SEC. Yeah, they need to tweak the NIL. Period. Jay, they definitely need to. Holtman, mediocre, nice guy, but average. Time for a change. I miss that amount of his recruiting. I miss that amount of his recruiting too, man. I really do, man. That amount of recruiting. Now, listen, that amount of X's and O's were left a little to be desired at times. There was some stagnant moments with all that talent we had on offense. We were good defensively, but there were way too many spots where our offense is like, what are we doing out there? Minus 06 when we had freaking Conley and Odin and Daquan Cook and Ron Lewis just creating their own shot and all that other stuff. But yeah, definitely missed that amount of recruiting. We are not a basketball school, Aaron Clark. Love the team, but we are a football school. Absolutely. Win the Big Ten to make the tournament. Okay, Tommy. I think we should consistently do a Sweet 16 contender most years. We have been missing the cut on that. Holtman got to go. Holtman is solid, but not elite. Too many turnovers. Yes, the turnovers, Kevin Bennett. Trash. I hate them. And it'd be goofy turnovers, too. Like, goofy turnovers. Like, what are you doing? Coach K is available. Maybe it's development issues. Could be. I love Chris Holtman, Bob Cody. He'll be fine this year. A healthy Kyle Young in the last 2 seasons would have been a huge difference. Plus, we lost Justice Suing. All right. Listen, that's fine about Kyle Young. And then that does suck. It's like, how unlucky are you? Man, and Kyle Young, he was definitely not the problem. He just couldn't stay healthy. But yes, we do need shooters. Arns was a major disappointment. I'm going to do a 30-second rant on Arns. Okay? And this is nothing personal against the kid. I'm sure he's a very nice kid. But again, as a basketball guy as well, all right, I played a 2 or 3 guard. You know, I'm not saying I was Kobe or, I had a few low-level offers. I wasn't no big-time D1 player, but I could play. Cats respect me in the Columbus area. Let's just say that. The point is this, though. How you going to be a college football? Let me say it again. Yeah, I said it that way. How you going to be? That's how I want to say it. A college basketball player, and you cannot pull up for a 10-foot jump shot or take it to the hole in a wide open lane. Justin Arns struggled with that, and it used to drive me insane. Whenever they would chase him off the three-point line, he would have opportunities to drive to the basket and lay it up, or even just stop and hit a 10-footer. But he wasn't. He didn't. He couldn't. It would drive me absolutely crazy. And on top of that, he couldn't hit threes at a certain point. And then he was a liability on defense. So it's like so frustrating. So frustrating. So I'm hoping that outside shooting helps. The kid from West Virginia, I heard he can shoot a little bit. I thought I saw his percentage. I thought he was a pretty decent shooter. And Seth Towns is a local kid. I know some of his family, great family. And I hope I'm not going to bank on it. Obviously, back issues is a major thing. I'm praying and hoping that he could come in and contribute. He's talented. He's a good shooter when healthy. But, yeah, Buckeye basketball is one of those things like you just can't put your finger on it. It's just like it's frustrating. But then you're like, should I even be that frustrated? Because what should our expectations be? It's kind of a difficult thing, but I'm going to watch. I'm a fan. I love basketball and I love the Buckeyes. I'm going to watch. I'm just hoping that the product can improve, even if we don't win a championship every year. That like we can say like this team is consistent, they're coached well, and they're playing well, and they're respectable. At least that's all I can ask for right now. So yes, Kevin, lack of leadership on the court, absolutely. We need to get some guys in here that's gonna step up and lead not only with their mouths and in the locker room, but on the court. So let's go ahead and transition, and then we'll finish out 2022 expectations. So let's hear it. Let's see the comments. Let's see what y'all thinking. I'm pulling up the schedule back up right now. As I told y'all, I'm super excited about this Notre Dame game. Like, super excited. Marcus Freeman running his mouth. And with that said, he's dead to me. Not really dead. Like, I want to kill him like in real life dead. I'm just giving a disclaimer because people are sensitive and it's 2022 and people can, be real goofy. I don't want him to die. He's sports dead to me because of his comments about Ohio State. And people are going to say, but he's the coach of Notre Dame now. He has to cater to his fan base. You can cater to your fan base without taking a hot dookie on your alma mater. Is that not possible? It's possible. It's very possible. You can respect them, especially in the media. Go ahead and talk your stuff behind the scenes. Go ahead and run your mouth in the locker room. Cool. But in the media, you gotta take a hot dookie on your alma mater that helped you to get you where you are. Please miss me with that. Period. So Marcus Freeman is dead to me as far as sports goes. Bruh, I don't care. I hope we 56-3 them. Right? And so, yeah, I can't wait for that game. Again, I hope it's at night. For the whole nation to see, to set the tone for the season. And they're breaking in a new quarterback as well. Now their fans, I don't know, scum delusion is here. Notre Dame delusion is teeters back and forth. Notre Dame fans, oh, he's going to be great. He's going to come in here in the shoe in his first game and just be awesome. And, and we're going to beat you. We'll see. We'll see. Either way, I'm excited. Let me see. Big Ten championships make the playoffs and payback scum. I agree. I think, to me, that is my prediction as of right now, is we will be back in Indianapolis. We will win the Big Ten. We're going to beat Notre Dame, and we're going to beat scum, and we're going to the playoffs. As we get closer or when the season starts, I'll start to kind of go a little further, but that I'm on the record right now that we will be back in the playoffs. We will avenge our loss against scum, our one loss in 10 years, which they are just, oh my God, you would have thought they won 10 straight the way they talking. I cannot wait to that game. I think you hit the nail on the head, B. What up, Rusty? Tommy, overdue for a natty. Yes, we are. This is the year. It's time. Back to Rusty. Top 30 or better. D, this team should absolutely win the national championship. 22. It's time to get it done. Absolutely. Yeah, it's there. We got the competency on defense. Coaching wise, we have enough talent to be top 30, which equals playoffs, national championship, as we already said, because our offense is ridiculous. Right? I couldn't say that if we just had an okay offense, but we don't. We have a video game offense that's going to be stupid. Agree. Marcus Judas Freeman, Bob Cody, straight up Judas, man. Like 30 pieces. Like, dude, what are you doing? So disappointed, man, because I liked Freeman, man. And I know, like, behind all the sports stuff, he's a good dude. I'm sure he's a good dude. I heard he's a good dude. Okay, so this is not a personal attack on Marcus Freeman. If I saw him in Walmart, I would dap him up, like, hey, what's up, man? But from a sports fan standpoint and the stuff he's been doing in the antics, nah, I'm done. But yeah, so that's my expectations for the 2022 season. And as far as CJ Stroud, if he stays healthy and just consistently does what he's been doing and goes through the trajectory that we expect, he's going to be in New York again, and I think he's going to win the Heisman. I mean, he's really, really good. And I know your boy from Alabama. Here's the thing. I don't see Archie's accomplishment being overshadowed anytime soon, man. So for that reason, I think CJ Stroud, if he just does what he does in the number one offense or top 5 offense in the country, playoff team, that's going to be hard to beat. Straight up. All right, Kevin. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Make sure y'all share this. I'm about to wrap up soon, but make sure y'all share this. Appreciate you. If we can run the ball consistently, it's a natty. Yeah, agreed. Our running game was lacking last year at way too many points. We could not consistently run between the tackles. And we know in hindsight, looking back, our pass pro was really good because we had a bunch of tackles, playing on the line who knew how to pass pro. But now we're going back to traditional, guards playing guard and tackles playing tackle. So hopefully we can get that going again and improve Henderson, some polar bears mauling, in that interior, and get back to running the ball like we should. And we got the backs. We got everything. We got it. We just got to stay healthy. You know what I mean? So anyway, try to make sure there's nothing else I'm missing. And if it's something y'all want to quickly chime in with, I can hit on it if you like. But I think I pretty much hit on everything. So we're going to go ahead and end it for the sake of time. It's been about an hour. It's been a solid hour. I had a lot of fun. I appreciate y'all. It's been a minute. Shoot, I've been pulled on a lot, y'all. I've been doing music again a lot more. I got a couple videos I'm about to drop songs. I might even do an album. So I'll let y'all know how that's going to go. But yeah, it's the off season. I wanted to get with y'all as more things come up. I'm probably going to start doing more quick videos, like like a live, even if it's 5 minutes, just to address something, just to kind of show my face more. But it was good, definitely good talking to y'all. Pryor must play too. He's a home run hitter. Yeah, I think Pryor's going to find some time. He's going to get in there, even if it's sparingly. He'll get in there and cause some matchup problems. I can see Day bringing him in, and no one seeing film on him and motioning him out to the slot against a linebacker who runs a 4.9 and it's a touchdown on a wheel route. Like, that's going to happen. Remember this video. That's going to happen. But yeah, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And I'll talk to y'all soon. All right. Peace.